Hey, safe to say I'm the biggest, the largest.
This is what we have. This is the cards we're dealt, just like anybody in this league. Can we be healthy in time to make a stretch run?
Cause I'm the biggest, the largest, the biggest, the largest.
No one's dying.
This is the Dallas Mavericks update brought to you by DallasHoop.com and Dope Content Entertainment.
Yeah.
We are here with a very special guest today, and we're going to talk about the Dallas Mavericks and the outlook on this upcoming 2025-2026 season. Couple of questions that we have to attack. Do the Mavs fans owe Nico Harrison an apology? How far can this team go? Should we be worried about Anthony Davis and coming in to camp 15 pounds overweight? And we have a lot of more to get into. But right now, we're going to bring in our special guest. It is the one and only. You've seen him on the platform before. He is a multi-time radio Hall of Famer down here. The absolute legend is the one and only Chris Arnold, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, what's happening, man? How you been?
I'm doing good, man. First of all, once again, I want to thank you for always, coming through whenever I do reach out, whenever you have time. You always come through and show love to the platform. Just for those who don't know, Chris Arnold was really the first person that had any type of name that got on the brand back in the days when it was Brooklyn 214 podcast. I believe that was 2018, way back in the day. Around that time, I only had maybe like 120 subscribers on the platform. And here we are about to hit 11,000 on the platform. We got 2 websites going out that's running. We're doing some good things on Facebook and etc. and on Twitch. So I just want to say thank you once again. And I held off on doing another Mavericks video until I got you on. So I haven't done a Mavs video in a while just because I wanted to make sure I had you on after we hit that 10K. So thank you once again, man.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, automatic. And by the way, good seeing you again. Last time I saw you, which was a couple weeks ago, you was hanging out with Josina Anderson.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's crazy. So
Cowboys game.
Yeah, things are starting to,
and the pop.
The slow grind, but it's happening. I appreciate every single moment, man. From WNBA, NFL, anything, wrestling. I just appreciate any moment I get. So.
That means you're going places because you appreciate it. You don't take it for granted.
Yes, sir.
I always like to say the journey is the reward. And so the journey that people go through, the highs and the lows, if you don't have any lows to go with them highs, you can't appreciate where you've been or where you're going to go.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So once again, thank you for joining. And before we get started with everything, how you doing? Everything good on your end?
Oh, yeah. I'm never bored. And that's one of the things. I'm a people person. I always try to live a purpose-driven life, which means I look forward to things. And again, I got no complaints. A career is different than a job because career, you would do it for free because you love what you do. It's not work. A job, you just get paid.
Yeah, that's true. That is true, man. So I know sounds like everything's going good outside of OU. We're not going to talk about OU in Texas now. I'm going to leave.
I'm going to have to leave.
We're going to have to let that one go. But
yeah, that was a surprise.
Yeah, it's a shocking, man. College football is pretty wild this year. So
it's not put like this. I wasn't shocked, but it was a surprise.
Yeah. So it's a lot of upsets going around in college football, and I actually love the chaos that I'm seeing this year.
Oh yeah. It's the balance.
Football. Yeah,
anything. Nobody knows who's going to win the SEC. That's how balanced it is.
Yeah, that's.
You just can't check in Georgia or Alabama and say, okay, it's a lock.
Right, and that's with any conference because the Big Ten is taking some turn.
Same thing.
Yeah, even with Penn State end up firing their coach. So it's a lot going on. So Clemson and Florida State started off and falling. It's all over the place. So I love
put it like this. Back to that Big Ten, watch Indiana win the whole damn thing.
That's
crazy.
That's gonna be crazy. But we'll get off subject there. I don't want to talk about college because that's a whole nother video in itself. Let's go ahead and stick with the Mavericks. And let's just get the elephant out the room. Hey, do we owe Nico Harrison an apology? Mavericks fans, do we owe Nico Harrison an apology? Your thoughts on that?
Put it like this. People are going to reconcile their emotions the way they want to. Sometimes it takes people longer than others. Mm-hmm. And I think what has muddled the conversation, when the trade happened, Nico trading Luka to LA for Anthony Davis and Max Christie, basically. and Maxi Kleber went to LA with Luka, I think the shock of the trade, and it was like, oh, this is the biggest trade in NBA history.
Right.
It evolved because people's emotions, there was a lot of fans whose emotions were attached to it. Oh my God, I can't believe you traded him. And so they're reconciling emotions, and all of a sudden the narrative switched. It turned into the most lopsided trade in NBA. It is not a lopsided trade at all. So if you were caught up in the emotion of the trade and is it lopsided and could they have gotten more assets, then you might say, oh, he shouldn't have never done it, or it was a bad trade.
Yeah.
It's not a bad trade until the parts are over. In other words, you don't know how Luka's career is going to go forward. Right. Hopefully, he's a great guy. Hopefully, it goes well for him, except against Maverick games. Right. And then for Anthony Davis, I mean, this is one caveat people forget. At the time of that trade, the season before, the season that the Mavericks went to the NBA Finals against Boston, Anthony Davis had actually played more games than Luka.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis played 76 out of 82 games that season for the Lakers, as healthy as he's ever been. Right. Luka only played like 60-something games for the Mavericks, 62 or 63 games. So, again, people kind of look at their histories, and again, it's all emotional. If you take out the emotion, you could say, okay, let's see if it's a good fit for both teams, or let's see if you won't know until the dust settles. All I can say is the Mavericks, low-key, a hell of a team this year.
I mean, see, my thing about that is we could have said the same thing, and we did say the same thing for last year. The same thing that we're saying this year, if they stay healthy, can't nobody beat them. We said that last year once they added Quinn Grimes, Najee Marshall, and all them. We said, oh, Luka has the pieces. You added shooting with Klay Thompson. I mean, you have everything you need, right? So
right.
I'm still iffy on it, right? Because I don't like getting older.
And you know what? That's fine to be iffy, because that's the smart thing to do. That way, because see, people in this day and age, they want instant answers. They want, instant analysis. Yeah. You have to pump the brakes and say, wait a minute, let it play out for a bit. It's not this or that. It's sometimes there's some gray areas in there, and until you let it play out, you don't know.
Yeah, and I just
there were people saying when the Lakers traded Shaq to Miami, oh, they'll never win again. And Phil Jackson's gone, they'll never win again. Kobe won 2 more rings.
I think that's a different beast though, because
I know. I'm just saying about playing it out. I'm not talking about tit for tat. Because again, that's what people make the mistake, trying to make comparisons when things are not comparable, but also trying to be definitive and saying that'll never work. In fact, there were people saying going into the season or going into the playoffs that the Mavericks won the championship with Dirk. Oh, they ain't going nowhere. They won and done every year. They didn't give Dirk no real help. They got some old OG veterans, J Kidd and Sean Marion. They all old, and Dirk is, getting older, and he's the only guy. You got to have a big three. Remember, got to have a big three. And guess what he did? Knocked out Portland with LaMarcus Aldridge and Brandon Roy. Next round, it was the Lakers going for the three-peat. Kobe trying to get a three-peat without Shaq. They swept those Lakers, who were the 2-time defending champion. Then they get Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City in the Western Conference Finals had James Harden MVP. They had Russell Westbrook MVP. They had KD, Kevin Durant MVP. They were all 23 and were only going to get better.
Right.
Mavericks beat them 4-1. Then they get Miami. Wait a minute. What did Chris Bosh, LeBron, and D Wade say it on that stage? Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6. Come on.
Yeah.
They knocked them out. And the narrative was, oh, LeBron choked. It wasn't Dirk won. It was LeBron choked. Nobody gave Dirk his props until years later. And they said, wait a minute. Dirk knocked out all those Hall of Famers?
The best run ever. The best run ever.
MVPs. Yep. And all he had was veteran. I mean, it was a great team. Yep. When I say great, I'm not talking about superstar in their prime. Dirk was the only superstar in his prime. Yep. So again, it circles back to people leaping to conclusions before the dust settles. Because there was going into those playoffs like, they ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. And see, that's my hope for the current Mavericks team, because that 2011 team, they did get older, but they brought in everybody that knew how to win. Jason Kidd knew how to win. Jason Terry, he's been to the finals with Dirk, so he didn't win it, but he knows how to get there and handle his business.
Tyson Chandler,
Sean Marion. Tyson Chandler was the big one. I remember Tyson Chandler got signed. I was happy. A lot of people called me dumb. I was like, "What? Tyson Chandler ain't nobody. He ain't no." I said, "Bro, Dirk needs a center. That's it."
You know what they said about him?
Yeah,
he's always hurt. That was the only reason he was available.
Yeah. But I remember people calling me crazy for sitting there saying I was so happy about Tyson Chandler. Oh, Tyson Chandler, he ain't this. I said, bro, y'all don't understand. This is how he fits with Dirk. Dirk has needed a center his whole career, basically, right? He gets a center 1 year, they go to the championship. Just simple as that. So
and the very next year in New York, because Mark Cuban let him get away to the Knicks. Yeah. The very next year he goes to the Knicks and was Defensive Player of the Year.
Yep.
For everybody who said, "Oh, he's always hurt and he won't be able to," Mavericks ain't done nothing.
Yeah.
Like I said, you gotta let these things play out.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the only thing with this. Like I said, I still don't like the fact that how it happened. It was a random on a Sunday night. I mean, it just came out of nowhere. Everybody thought Shams was hacked. And it's like, come on, no way you traded Luka after just going to the finals. And he ran through Anthony Edwards and all these guys to get there. And my mindset, and it's still, I don't care what Anthony Davis does. I have no beef with Anthony Davis. I just want him to stay healthy. But no matter what he does here, my mindset will always be, you traded away a generational talent at 25, 26 years old. And then you went on a tour saying injury prone, out of shape, can't play.
He didn't. That was quote unquote leaks. He never said that.
Okay, well, I'll take it as that. But the defense wins championships and basically try to make it seem like Luka's defense is the reason they lost to Boston. And I'm like, well, Boston had a historically great offense. I mean, nobody was beating Boston, no matter who it was.
Can I answer that real quick? Can I answer that? And by the way, NICO did say defense wins championships. He did say that part.
Which is true.
It's true.
Yeah.
And then let's go back to those finals, because in game 3, which was pivotal, I mean, Boston won the first 2 in Boston. Yep. They come back to Dallas and they lose a close game 3 where Luka fouled out. Yep. And what was Luka's habit? He always likes to argue with the refs, right? Yeah. And he was looking for a call and all that, and it never happened. They lose that game. The very next game, the Mavericks blow out Celtics. Right. So, as you put it, Celtics were a generational team. They were loaded.
Yeah.
But guess what? You still got to play the games. And I'm only bringing this up because 2 years earlier, before they had Kyrie, the Mavericks go to the Western Conference Finals. Mm-hmm. And in the semifinals, they take on the Phoenix Suns. Mm-hmm. Let me remind everybody this scenario, and you'll see where I'm going with this. They're taking on the Phoenix Suns, who had been to the finals the year before. Mm-hmm. The Phoenix Suns had beaten the Mavericks in Phoenix for like 7 straight years. Yeah. It didn't matter if the Mavericks were good or the Suns were good, or the Mavericks were bad, the Suns were bad. They could not win in Phoenix. It just never happened. It's kind of like the Cowboys going to Pittsburgh. It don't never happen up there.
Right.
Well, here's the deal. They go to Phoenix in the semifinals. And Phoenix, like I said, it's their turn. They lost to Milwaukee. They're locked and loaded. They got everybody healthy. They're good to go. CP3's healthy. Everybody's good to go. They're taking on the Mavericks, who they own in Phoenix. Mavericks is glad to be there. They ain't even got Kyrie. They ain't got no old head in the locker room telling them how to navigate this stuff. So here's what they do. They go to Phoenix. They get blown out the first 2 games. They come back to Dallas. They win both of those games. It's like, wow. They go back to Phoenix. They lose that game in a blowout again. Yep. They come back to Dallas and they win that game, forcing a game 7 in Phoenix. There was nothing to suggest the Mavericks were going to win in Phoenix, because not just that they lost every time for 7 years. In this series, every game was a blowout in Phoenix. Every game. And the Phoenix Suns have navigated the playoffs before. It's their turn to go to the championship. What happens? They go to Phoenix. They blow out the Suns. Luka had 40 points in the first half.
He did.
So where I'm going with this is, you got to play it. Like, and Jason Kidd even said it to the whole team going to the NBA Finals. He said, enjoy the finals.
Right.
But you don't know how long it'll take till you come back again, or if you ever come back again. He said, it took me 14 years. I was playing with New Jersey Nets. We went back to back, and I'm thinking, we're going to come back again. He said, I never got a chance to come back until damn near 10 years later with the Mavericks.
Yeah.
So he said, enjoy it, but you got to play every game like it's your last game. So imagine if they had won that game 3. Who knows? You can't say they wouldn't have never won it, and you can't say Boston generational, because you couldn't have told the Phoenix Suns that they were going to win game 7 in Phoenix, let alone get blown out.
To the point where they had to apologize to their fans on social media after getting blown out. So
who was the center? DeAndre Ayton, right?
Yeah.
That's when he and the coach fell out. Monty, one of the greatest coaches, the nicest coach. Everybody loved Monty. Ayton fall out because Ayton, his history was he never was taking the playoffs seriously. Okay. That's what they said. That's why he wound up going to Portland. Monty winds up going to Detroit. He goes to Portland. And then now he's with the Lakers. And for all the Laker fans, he's got the physical skills. But will he take the playoffs seriously?
Yeah, and that not only that, he came out and said last week that he really hasn't practiced with Luka or LeBron yet. So that's kind of interesting. Now I know LeBron is injured.
That's what happens when people annoy. See, that's what happens when people annoy. And let me go back to just this past season. I can't even tell you how many people, because Luka and LeBron start having this chemistry. So in the regular season, they move it to number 3, wound up number 3 in the West, right? Surge to the number 3. And there were people saying, oh, they're going to Western Conference Final. Might even go to the NBA Final. And I'm like, no, they can't. It won't happen that way. And I had to explain on my radio show over and over again, you are not going to get a triple-double Luka. And the reason why is you don't have the bigs where he can throw that lob up there. And you don't, and if the bigs aren't a threat, see, people don't understand playoff basketball and barbecue chicken time, okay? You probably know about barbecue chicken time. But here's what the deal is. If you don't have big, and see, NICO did an incredible job building that team around Luka, okay? You don't have the bigs to lob it up, to be a threat to lob it up. Guess what? All those defenders for the other team will camp out along the perimeter, and Austin Reeves ain't going to be open. So you're not getting Luka with the assists. You're getting Luka who can shoot. And Luka who will get rebounds if he's grabbing rebounds. I said, it's not going to work. Austin Reeves not going to be able to score, and the bigs can't score. And guess what? All you have to do is get Luka in the foul trouble or LeBron in the foul trouble, and the other team win in the 7-game series. They didn't make it the first round, and I knew that was going to happen because you got to know playoff basketball, and it's all about defense in the playoffs. In the playoffs is defense.
And then they also had a lack of shooting out there in LA as well.
Well, what I said about the shooting, the defense was cheating on the 3-point line because they didn't have to worry about the middle. See what I'm saying? The bigs. That's why people were mad at JJ Redick because they don't know basketball, saying, why is he bitching these guys who are bigs? Why is he playing LeBron and Luka all these minutes in that game? I think it was game 4, game 3, game 4, where it was. Because he knew if we don't win it, because we ain't got no bigs.
It was game 3.
So you got to know these things, because just looking at it from afar, unless you invest your time watching basketball and know how the NBA works, you would think, oh, yeah, look at the talent on that team. And then you get mad because they ain't going nowhere.
See, now with all of this.
And by the way, let me say this about Luka. I love Luka. Luka's a great player. Luka is an offensive genius. He can get a triple-double at will. But his flaw is he's got to do a better job. In defense, he's not a defensive where he's not going to suddenly sculpt his body and look like Giannis. You know what I mean? He's not going to be that guy. But at the same time, shape now, though. Oh, yeah. Well, here's the deal. How did he do it? He did it with intermittent fasting. Remember he was talking about that? 14 hours a day he wasn't eating. When the season starts, he's on these road trips. Is he going to stick with? I don't see how. And again, I'm glad he lost the weight because that's all NICO wanted. You know, but here's the deal: can he do that in the regular season? Can he? Because you put it like this: after games, all players they got high energy. They want to go get something to eat at 11 o'clock at night. They're going to go get some steaks or whatever. Then they want to go somewhere after the club. You never know. If you on the road and you're going from city to city and you ordering room service, are you going to wait 14 full hours? I don't know.
Nah.
Can he do it? That's the question. In other words, I'm not going to assume that he stays at this exact same weight in this condition in January. I hope for him he does, because it would make his career last longer, and he'd be a Hall of Fame guy and the whole 9 yards. He's already an extremely talented player offensively. Right. So again, I'm just saying, okay, there's levels to this. Yeah. And that's why I'm not saying, oh, he's in shape, they're going to win it all. Or, oh, he'll never get into shape. I'm saying, let's look at the whole context. Let's see if his journey, his ups and downs and all this, if it makes it all that add up for him.
Yeah, and see, the thing is, I think LA is gonna send him whatever he needs. LA has been catering to him since he's been there. So I'm really not worried about Luka getting out of shape unless he gets injured again. Now, if he gets injured again and has to miss time, then I'll start getting nervous. But as long as he's playing, I think LA is gonna send him whoever they need or whatever they need to send him.
Well, he had that in Dallas, but the deal was, he has LeBron, who was his hero before he even came to the United States. Right. Showing him, this is how you spend $1 million staying in shape.
Yep.
And he's taking care of his body from day one. I'm giving LeBron major props. Yep. I don't consider him the greatest basketball player of all time. I always give that to MJ. Yeah. But LeBron has created his own path where he has showed how longevity has given. He's done things nobody will ever do. Yeah. LeBron.
Yeah. That's facts, man. So, but going back to NICO and the fans apologizing to him, I'm still iffy because look, I like I started to say, the whole tour, media tour, and it seems like the MAVS was just slandering this man's name. I didn't like that. And then another thing I didn't like was the Quentin Grimes trade. I didn't like it at all.
Okay. I'm glad you brought that up because as you see, did you see how long it took for him to finally re-sign with Philadelphia? See, there's levels to this. But perhaps NICO knew that him and his agent were going to ask for something that was insane.
Do what Philly did.
Huh?
Do what Philly did. They didn't give him the contract he wanted.
You can't count on that because here's the deal. Any other team could match it. And what happened to JB? The same thing. Any other team matched it and Jalen Brunson went. So you learn from that. Philadelphia ain't the smartest organization of all time. They're good. But they're not like brilliant. They're not Danny Ainge. Well, Danny Ainge know what he's doing. You know what I mean? Yeah. So with that being said, it's like, okay, Quentin Grimes, because everybody is hurt, is going to get a lot of minutes, and he's a quality player.
Yeah.
But put it like this, you got to know the agents too. You can't just assume, oh, we're going to have a friendly negotiation.
Yeah.
I don't know if the agent get along with that organization or the agent is the kind of guy that's all about the money first. You have no idea.
Yeah,
and again, Philadelphia didn't know this until last month. How you gonna build your team if you don't know who you got?
See, yeah, there's
levels to this. There's levels.
Yeah, the thing about it though, I actually gave NICO credit for having the guts to trade Luka at that age for older Anthony Davis that's injury prone. Because I say, you know what? If you're bold enough to trade Luka Doncic after him taking you to the finals, you sending the message that, hey, if you don't do your job the way I want you to do it, we're going to make the move. So I applaud him for that part. I didn't like the trade, but I still applaud him for that. I was never on the fire NICO, just to be clear. Now, this Quentin Grimes one, I can't budge on that one. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I can't budge on that
and that's fine. And that's fine. I'm not gonna change your mind. There's some people who will never. There are people to this day. I try to tell them Christian Wood is not going to be a quality player.
You told me
they argued me down.
Yeah.
And then they said when he left, Jason Kidd's blackballing him. No team wants him because Jason Kidd's blackballing him, which is not true. Yeah. It goes back to barbecue chicken time. For those who don't know, Christian Wood is a walking bucket offensively.
Yeah.
Defensively, he doesn't even try to learn the defense. There were Mavericks assistant coaches telling him where to be on the zone defenses.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. In the NBA playoffs, the first thing you do is if you got a guy that's not a great defender, you put him in a pick and roll blender and you get him in foul trouble. And those 20 points are sitting on the bench. And if you're the coach, what are you going to do now? Christian Wood averaging all these points, if you playing him in the regular season all the time and playoffs begin, that 20 points that the team was used to, you can't use it no more. But people don't look at that. They just say, man, Christian Woods could score at will. They need to play him.
Yeah.
Christian Woods is lucky to be in the NBA. And I like him personally, but he's nonchalant. It's no different than DeAndre. He's nonchalant.
Yeah. And
Do you want nonchalant to lead your team?
And see, he's on the Lakers and didn't even get to play at all. Couldn't even get off the bench with all their big man trouble. So I remember.
And guess what? All them Lakers fans are mad at him. They were mad at him.
Yeah.
Mavericks fans was like, how come they don't play him? He's a walking butt. Can't you see he can score?
I was one of them. And you had to tell me. And I was like, you know what? You're right.
So when I say Quentin Grimes, and I love Quentin Grimes, he's a total good player.
Yeah.
Total good player. But like I said, who knew I had an idea that, you know, his value was going to be more than what the Mavericks were in position to play. And so they traded him for a controllable contract, a contract that if they had to trade that contract, they could.
But nobody.
And a player that played defense along the perimeter. Again, Quentin Grimes, I really like that brother.
Yeah, listen, you trade Luka, you know you're going to need ball handling. And you can't just depend on Kyrie to do it all by himself. Spencer Dinwiddie was so inconsistent. Dante Exum, who we'll probably get into a little later, was always injured. You couldn't trust Hardy, which that's another guy who Mavs fans like push him, and then when he got his chance, he's not consistent. So Jason Kidd was right.
Okay, so let's go back to Jalen Brunson, because I'm trying to make everybody understand the mentality of all these deals.
Okay.
Jason Kidd was the first coach to start Jalen Brunson.
Right.
Rick Carlisle had Jalen Brunson playing with the second unit. He did not have two guards. Jason Kidd said, my job is to get Jalen Brunson paid. Yep. And I need to make sure Luka's usage rating isn't gonna, you know, we need to have ball handlers so Luka's not just dragging the ball up and down the court and he ain't got no legs in the playoffs, right? Well, you couldn't have told anybody that Jalen Brunson wasn't gonna re-sign with the Mavericks. Little did they know, and people forget this part of the equation. The Knicks got fined for tampering because they did.
They showed up to the playoff game.
First, they signed his daddy as an assistant coach. Yeah. The general manager was his daddy's agent. Yeah. Leon Rose, that was Jalen Brunson's daddy's agent. The general manager, Leon Rose, his son is currently Jalen Brunson's agent.
Yeah.
Jalen didn't even meet with the Mavericks. And the biggest caveat of all, he said, the Knicks, it's not even about the money. It's like, I can't play here. It's not gonna work. They traded half their bench to Detroit to make the cap space, to make it worthwhile. Yeah. They did it on draft day. And I'm like, I'll be damned. Look at this. And guess what? Jalen Brunson didn't even, he said, I love Dallas, but Dallas don't have Madison Square Garden. He grew up, Allen Houston was his favorite player. New York Knicks, Alex Houston. He also said, when I was a little kid, my daddy played for the Knicks. My dream, it's like telling an NFL player who always wanted to play for the Cowboys, and you get a chance to play for the Cowboys?
Yeah.
And the Cowboys say, guess what? You get to be the quarterback, not share quarterback job with the other superstar. See what I'm saying? So imagine them saying, wait a minute, we hope Quentin resigns, but we don't know that he will. We don't know, just like Steve Nash. People forget how Steve Nash wound up in Phoenix. You remember how Steve Nash wound up in Phoenix? Because the Mavericks could have matched that offer. Do you realize what happened with there?
He went to Phoenix and they end up getting Jason Terry out of it.
No. This is what happened. Steve Nash, Mark Cuban, Dirk, Finley, all of them tight partners.
Yeah.
Mark Cuban said, you know what? Steve is in his 30s. Now he's 31 years old. I'm over the cap.
Yeah.
I don't need to overpay. So Steve, who was a two-time All-Star at that point, Steve, I want you to go ahead and go into free agency, and whatever somebody offer you, I will match it. And if they don't, well, you know, in Mark's mind, at the time, Mark's mind is like, okay, he's worth a $35 million, not a year, $35 million contract, 4 or 5 years, whatever it was. And I will give him that. That's $70 million to Cuban out of his pocket. He's got to match it with the league, right?
Yeah.
35 times 2 is 70. So it's like, I can pay that. But what if somebody only offers 30? Well, I'll make 34, you know, whatever, right? 30. Yeah. How come the Phoenix Suns had a new owner? They flew into town. Steve Kerr was the general manager, part owner, general manager. Mike D'Antoni was the coach. D'Antoni was the coach. You had Amari Stoudemire, Rookie of the Year. They fly in the morning of free agency, show up at the Crescent Hotel, Steve Nash is just sitting there because they see what they're going to offer. Everybody in the NBA knows Mark Cuban's going to match it.
Yeah.
The Phoenix said, Steve, and here's our offer. $65 million, and we're on the clock. If you don't accept this in the next couple hours, going to pull the offer. He calls up Cuban. Mark, you don't even have to match it. Just come close. One was $65 million was $130 million to Mark Cuban.
Yeah.
If he did $50 million, that was $100 million.
Yeah.
He said, I can't touch that. And Steve was mad. Mark was mad. But he had to, in Steve Nash's mind, that might have been his last contract. He's 31 years old.
Yeah.
He had a history of back problem. So you can't assume, oh, Quentin Richardson, yeah, we're going to re-sign him automatically. You don't know that.
But
that's why he did it. He didn't think the talent wasn't good enough. It was about controllable contracts. And nobody wants to look at it like that. Everybody wants to look at, they can't understand the business side, but they like the fan favorite side. Or they look at the talent and don't realize there's attachments to the talent.
So my thing is, if you lost Quentin Grimes in free agency, so what? Caleb Martin brings nothing to your team. And then he couldn't even pass the physical.
Hold on, what I say. You don't know if he brings something or not. You saw what he did in the finals playing for Miami against Boston, or whoever was in the finals that year. All I can tell you is this. I didn't even say talent. I said contract, didn't I? Didn't I say it was a controllable contract, which means that same contract can be moved. See, people don't look at it like that. They look at it nowadays. They look at draft picks. Now they look at these assets, but they don't take a deeper dive in how can we get these assets. You got to attach a player to it. Can we get this draft? You have no idea. You're just looking at straight up talent and say he don't add nothing to it, but you don't get nothing back in return. You have no idea about that controllable contract being traded somewhere, as opposed to losing Quentin Richardson for nothing the way you lost JB.
Yeah, but see, I'm looking at Caleb Martin and I'm looking at his contract and his value right now in the league, and I'm saying we have B. Will, we have Jaden Hardy, we have Exum, we have all these other players that we can also move. We don't need Caleb Martin's contract. I would have let Quentin Grimes play out the season, and you go through whatever negotiation you got to go through. If you get him, if you keep him, good. If not, oh well, it is what it is. But
let me say this: this is what you don't know.
You can't trade Luka and get rid of another ball handler.
This is what you don't know.
So,
the time they traded Quentin Grimes was the next day. Right. Anthony Davis was not injured at that point.
But
they thought they were going deep in the playoffs. You can't tell them. Kyrie wasn't hurt. See, you're conflating what happened later with what you would have done at that time.
No, when it happened, I said, okay, you got rid of Luka. Kyrie is your main ball handler, and I said the same thing then. Got on camera and said you can't trust Spencer Dinwiddie as a ball handler this year because he's not the same as he was when they went to the Western Conference Finals. You can't trust Jaden Hardy because he had his chance and he was inconsistent. And at that time, I didn't really know what B. Will was. So I said then you can't get rid of a ball handler in his 20s and he plays defense because you're gonna need him. And then sure enough, later on you needed him and he wasn't there. That's my problem.
Hold on. I got you. And I understand what you're saying. But let me say this back in return. At that time, and this is what's the great thing about Jason Kidd, who all these fans who hate Jason Kidd because he just stand there and watch.
Yeah, I don't get that. Yeah.
They're getting his styles. I told people, I said, guess what? I watch Tom Landry stand there and watch and go to 5 Super Bowls. And they say, oh, he's so stoic. 1 year later, they bring in Jimmy John, fire Landry, bring in Jimmy John, and he's clapping, he's animated. That college coach is in over his head. And then he wins Super Bowl, a couple of Super Bowls, and like, we need Jimmy back. Yeah. It's all styles. But where I was going with Jason Kidd is Jason Kidd has always had different people bring the ball down, which is where he had Giannis doing it. And I was saying it before. He even said it at his press conference. I said, y'all forget. He had Najee Marshall bringing the ball down. He had PJ Washington bringing the ball down. The whole game, and they traded for Kyrie because they didn't want Luka to get them dead legs like James Harden and then not have a shot in the third round of the playoff. With that being said, that's why it was all about let's not overuse Luka. Let's set it up for him. Let's bring the ball down. They're going to guard whoever's bringing the ball. So he had different people. And that's what he's doing with Cooper Flagg. And that's why people are overestimating. Well, they're not going to do nothing until Kyrie gets here. Let's go back to, again, my point. You had a quality defender with Caleb Williams, all right? Quality defender, perimeter defender, and made big shots in the playoffs. That was the caveat. And like I said, it's a tradable contract if it don't work out. And at the time of that deal, like you were saying, you need as many guards. No, nobody was thinking about that the day of. And people forget about Max Christie. Max Christie is not a point guard. He is a shooting guard, but he got handles. He can bring the ball down just as well as Najee Marshall. So my whole point is, everybody conveniently forgets you got a coach that makes people uncomfortable. He makes them handle the ball. And guess what? He knows. So this is what's so funny. We're getting into where we're going with this season, how people are sleeping on the Mavericks, and they're too deep at every position. It goes back to, again, there's so many national people who act like, oh, they don't have a point guard. Oh, wait a minute, they just got D'Lo. And they got all kinds of people who can bring the ball down. They're going to force Cooper Flagg to handle the ball. Giannis handles the ball to this day. And that's because of Jason Kidd. And let me say this again. In the NBA today, it's positionless basketball. Yeah. You got bigs who are the centers. You got wings who are the small forwards, power forwards, and you also, and then shooting guards if they're big enough and can guard. And then you have facilitators. You don't need a true point guard to the playoffs. And guess who's coming back for the playoffs? Kyrie. Which leads us to D'Lo. D'Angelo Russell is a quality guard. Let me tell you what. You know why the Laker fans hate him?
I'm trying to remember because they said a lot about him.
Let me tell you why they hate him. He's fantastic in the regular season. In the playoffs, he can't make a shot. He don't do nothing like he did in the regular. Well, guess what? We don't need him for the playoffs. He's added value for the playoffs. He doesn't have Kyrie's back. He can do it. Guess what, D'Lo? You have no pressure on you. Guess what? Anthony Davis, you have no pressure on you. This team is deep. It's everywhere. 10 players deep.
Yeah. And I mean, really more than 10. And that's the thing with this roster. Like the way Jason Kidd, I believe in systems. That's why I'm a huge fan of Jason Kidd. I feel like the people they bring in, like Russell, he might have struggled in LA. I didn't think he fit their system. Even when he was playing well, he fits here. Yeah,
it's kind of like Jalen Brunson didn't fit with Rick Carlisle.
Yeah,
but he fit well with Jason Kidd.
Right, and then went to New York and just you see what he is now. So, but yeah, that Quinn Grimes. I'm sorry, that one.
I'm not gonna try to talk you out of it.
I can't budge on that one. The Luka,
I couldn't talk you out of Christian Wood either.
Yeah, you did. You talked me out of that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I gave in on that one saying, like, right when you said, I was like, you know what, you're right. So, but that Caleb Martin, Quinn Grimes, I just can't, especially when he went and took off and started averaging 22 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, shooting 47% from the field, 37% from 3 after getting traded. And then we get a guy that's older. Again, I don't like getting older. We got older. Like, I felt like you cut. And this is way before you got blessed with Cooper Flagg. So I'm just looking at this team like, man, like you cutting our window real short. Then you kind of joke around talking about, well, I might not be the next 3-4 years. No, I don't want to hear that. Like you making our team older and then you joking around about you not going to be here. So
hold on. He said we got to win now. So let me explain the win now.
Did they not have a win now team though?
They do have a win now team.
I'm talking about guess what? The start last year. Did they not have a win now team? Was that roster last year?
You mean with Luka or with AD?
Yeah, at the beginning of last year with Luka, Quinn Grimes, and all that, was that not considered a win now roster?
Yes. So let me explain something. That wasn't why the trade was made like that. The trade was made because, and this is where a lot of people confuse on what win now means. The win now means is you can't afford to mess around because it's not about the Lakers. And this is with if the Luka was still on the team, it doesn't matter. Yeah. It's not about Golden State. It's about Oklahoma City, San Antonio, and the Rockets. Those three. Forget Memphis. Memphis is dicey.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City got all the assets to be a dynasty like Golden State was.
Yeah.
Houston has got all these young guys who are athletic, got a hell of a coach.
Yeah.
This is what they even got KD. It's like, and by the way, Houston wound up second in the West. People forget about that.
Yeah.
And they didn't go far because they were too young to know how to deal with the playoffs, just like Oklahoma City was too young a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Here we go again. San Antonio got Wemby, they got Fox, they got the rookie of the year from last year, and then they got Harper. They got Dylan Harper. You got to win now if you got guys in their 30s who know the playoffs, headed to the Hall of Fames, got their rings. The reason people are sleeping on the Mavericks is they think all these other teams are ready. They're not quite ready.
Nah.
When I say quite ready, Oklahoma City done won it all. They are a team that's ready, but guess what? They're ready. In other words, they now know what it takes to go all the way. Yeah. But the Mavericks own Oklahoma City. And let me put this on this. People forget this. They think, oh, yeah, you had Luka, they own Mavericks. When they knocked Oklahoma City, a young Oklahoma City team out of the playoffs, Oklahoma City won the West, and the Mavericks came and knocked out. Luka did his Luka thing. Mm-hmm. But Luka spent a lot of time arguing with the refs because Lou Dort was flopping.
Yeah.
The mismatch was P.J. Washington. Oklahoma City had no answers for P.J. Washington. So the regular season begins. Mavericks play Oklahoma City 4 times. They go 3-1 against Oklahoma City. The only game they lost, P.J. Washington had a stomach virus and missed it, and that was a game to go to the NBA Cup in Las Vegas. Those other 3 wins, 2 of them were in Oklahoma City. The Thunder only lost 6 games at home. The Mavericks beat them twice. They cannot figure out P.J. Washington. Yeah. I'm not saying that the Mavericks, because they own Oklahoma City, are going to win the whole championship. No, it's matchups, especially in the playoffs. The Denver Nuggets might be the matchup that knocked the Mavericks out. It might be the young legs of San Antonio and Houston that knock them out. But the Mavericks have got to win now because they ain't got time to F around and find out. See what I'm going? Everybody's got to be committed. And the way this roster is built right now, because you were saying, man, people might be owe NICO an apology, or the NBA might be league-wide expert of sleeping on it, talking about they might be a play-in team. They don't understand. Las Vegas said the Mavericks over and under is 39 wins, 39 and a half.
They would minimum at worst, they would be top 4 at worst.
Hold on, I'm with you. So listen to this. I'm with you. Listen to this.
If healthy.
If healthy. But guess what? They got enough. They 12 deep, so they can afford the health issues. Nobody's got to carry anything. But this 39 and a half, the Mavericks won 39 last year with 8 players most of the way.
Right.
8 two-way players, G League guys, 10-day contracts. And guess what they found out during that stretch? Mm-hmm. Everybody's committed.
Yeah.
And not only who's committed, the superstars are committed. In other words, Kyrie got a ring, he going to the Hall of Fame. Klay Thompson got a ring, several rings, going to the Hall of Fame. What's his name? Anthony Davis got a ring, going to the Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. They all not trying to go to the All-Star game. They're not trying to count their touches, how many minutes they get. They're not trying to make a name for themselves. Yeah. And all those players around them are committed to winning. They love the environment. They love the coach. Otherwise, you'd have heard all kinds of crazy stuff. When that trade happened, you heard people out of them players other than, we got to grind, man. Did you? Yeah. Nothing. Yeah. You didn't hear no finger pointing. You didn't, and they didn't quit like New Orleans, Utah, Charlotte. Teams that wasn't going nowhere but on vacation. They quit down the stretch. They were in a whole double digit. That team lost. Mavericks was fighting every game and wound up in the play-in and made half the fans mad because they wanted a draft pick. See what I'm saying?
And we got anyway.
But that commitment to winning showed that they play for each other.
Yeah.
And it's real. It's not just a philosophy. It's real. And that's that same core you bringing back. You're not bringing in a bunch of other guys got to get to know each other. Right. D-Lo played with AD. They know each other. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, this team, they going to be more dangerous than people expect.
Man, yeah. And that's the thing. So, like I said, we got older. But if you look at the roster now, they found ways to still have that win now mentality with the veterans, but you still got a core of players in their 20s.
Yes.
You add a Cooper Flag at 18 years old.
Man.
Like I said, I'm gonna always say you either cheated or got lucky. You lucked into that. You got a blessing. But
I don't ask no question, just be glad for the blessing.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing I say about that, because I tell people all the time, I said, well, they did that when they made that deal. They knew that was what. I said, wait a minute.
Yeah,
this is how I explain it. I always say, Who was the number one pick last year when Atlanta took the number one pick? Who was that pick?
Who was the pick last year?
See, that's my point. You can say all you want. Cooper Flagg didn't say he was coming out. He hadn't even gone to the NCAA play. It wasn't no March Madness yet. He might have said, I'm playing Duke one more year. We didn't win the title, or who knows?
And he just got injured at Duke too, right?
No, he didn't get. Cooper Flagg did fine, but I'm just saying at that time he might have, but it wasn't long term. The whole point I'm trying to make is he's only 18. Nobody thought he was definitely coming out the first year, especially he already know he probably gonna be the number one pick no matter what year. He might say, I gotta win a title for Duke or whatever. You don't know. The whole point I'm trying to make is you could have a number one pick who Atlanta got a guy from France and it wasn't Wemby because Wemby went the year before to San Antonio. You have no idea who's going to be the number one pick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? DeAndre Ayton was the number one pick over Luka. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nobody knew Luka was going to be a great talent like that. They thought Ayton. All right. The same thing with Michael Jordan and whoever Portland picked number. No, Portland picked number 2. I think Hakeem Olajuwon came out the year with Jordan. I think Hakeem was number 1.
Yeah, he came out the year with Jordan.
But the whole point I'm trying to make, you just don't know what that player is going to do. So, the other thing about the Mavericks, I've said this for 10, 15 years. Whenever the Mavericks fans are like, they need to just tank. I'm like, it's the history of the team. They've never moved up one notch
at all
if they're in the lottery.
Yeah.
They've either stayed the same or fell back. They have never slid up. This is the only time in history they ever went up. And you heard what Adam Silver said. They said, this is a bad look for, the NBA, the Mavericks, out of all the teams get the number. Adam said, this shows you that tanking won't work. It just shows you.
I mean, they moved up 9 spots.
Because all them teams decided to slide all the way to the top 5.
Yep.
They ain't getting nothing.
Yeah, that was crazy. Moving up 9 spots after you made the play in, like that's just.
They had a 1% chance. I give credit to Rolando Blackman. He was a good luck charm.
Yeah, there it is. He needs to do the rest of them from now on.
That's as good as an excuse as anything else. Just be blessed and grateful.
Yeah. So moving forward, looking at this roster, I'm gonna show you this picture because this went across the internet, and Mavs fans are worried, but I want to get your thoughts on this. Should they be worried about Anthony Davis coming in 15 pounds heavier than normal? Now, he says that he normally comes in every training camp 10, 15 pounds because he can lose 10 pounds like that. But Mavs fans who don't know Anthony Davis like that, they're not trying to hear that. And they see Luka lose all his weight, and they're saying, "Oh, well, you got rid of Luka for being fat. Now he little, and now AD come in looking like this. What are y'all doing in Texas?" So your thoughts on if they should panic or not?
Not at all. As a matter of fact, he has historically, it's not just he said it, you just look at the numbers. He has lost the weight as the season goes on because when you play some basketball, you're going to lose some weight. Yeah. Luka would always be in shape to a degree. Not the way he is right now. He would always be slimmer when he was in Slovenia, and then the season starts. And then he would gain weight.
Yeah.
And Anthony Davis has a complete reverse history. His history is he may be, in fact, there are some players who actually want to come in heavy because they know they're going to burn it off. He's just one of those guys.
And so
I wouldn't be worried about that. And I wouldn't be worried about the goggles. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar played forever with goggles, and look what he did.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know people was worried about that. I'm like, that's just natural now.
Well, people got to have an angle. They have to have a narrative. They got to have something to play with. And nothing going, oh, wait a minute. And that's wrestler. He might not be ready for camp. Oh, wait a minute. He's got to wear goggles the rest of his career.
Yeah. Well, I mean.
Guess what? It worked for Kareem.
Did it. Yeah.
And what old boy played for the Pistons did it? What's his name? The guard. Always put on the goggles.
Jackson.
No, not Jackson. I forget his name. He was an all-star and everything, but he played for the Pistons in the 2000s.
You talking about Richard Hamilton. Okay.
Hamilton. Yeah. Hamilton wore them goggles, and they said, why are you still wearing them goggles? He said, it turned out to be a good luck charm.
Yeah, so I didn't even know the goggles was an issue. I just saw a lot of people talking about him gaining weight. So I was like,
Well, you know what it kind of remind me of? I remember there was some pictures of Tony Romo looking fat in training camp. It was the angle that made it look fatter. He had some weight on him, but they ain't never messed up Romo. But again, I'm just saying.
Yeah, this is actually the better picture of AD because the other one that went viral actually looked worse. That was a horrible angle. This one is actually the good angle from that
Yeah.
day.
If
yeah.
you saw him in preseason, he looked fine.
Well, that's where I was getting to next because a lot of Mavs fans weren't happy with his performance against Charlotte the other night.
Well, nobody can look. He wasn't the guy they were looking at. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the coaches.
Yeah.
What the coaches are looking at is the end of the roster and who might be able to make the team.
Yeah. So
just understand that one performance does not define his career or what he might do. And it wasn't even a terrible performance. It just wasn't as good as the one in Fort Worth.
Yeah, they didn't.
And by the way, they had a fan jam the night before, so
they did.
And by the way, I would say this because the team is so deep. There will be several times that some veterans like AD and
Clay,
they're not gonna play no back-to-backs, and it's not because they can't do it. It's just it's not necessary. And this is also leads into people who get overly concerned about who starts. Clay don't need to be starting.
Yeah,
I can't believe they got PJ coming off the bench. It does, or Clay or Flag won't get enough minutes because no. It's not about who starts. It goes back to that. I was talking about the bigs, the wings, and the facilitators.
Yeah.
You look at the matchups in the regular season. That's what Jason Kidd does. He's gonna say, you know what, PJ, you're a better matchup. We're gonna have you start against that starting five this time. Or even, I'll give you even more recent history. Derek Lively started the season last year. First couple of weeks, he wasn't getting much done. They put in Gafford.
Right.
And people low key forgot.
Yeah.
Oh, like I said, people get caught up with stuff to they want to and then you win the title, and then they say, oh yeah, I'll give it in the Dirk mode. People dogged out Dirk his whole career. You know what they called him? They called him a 4-letter word. You know what the 4-letter word? Soft.
Yeah.
They didn't just call him a soft, they called him another 4-letter word right behind soft. Soft Euro. And like I said, can't win. He don't know how to bang. They won't post him up. He's out there shooting threes. They dogged him. And I give him a whole lot of credit for having the character to go through that stuff. And it just trips me out how many fans and certain media people I run across. Oh, I've always loved Dirk. No, you didn't.
No, you did. Yeah.
I remember when Dirk won the regular season MVP after they got knocked out in the first round by a Golden State team that was lucky to be in the playoffs.
He got trashed in the media.
He was embarrassed to get that award because they were dogging him out. In fact, he and his guru Holger, the guy that helped him play basketball from Germany, he went off to the outback in Australia to disappear. Because he's like, I'm 7 foot tall. I don't want nobody to know who I am right now. I got to get my head right. That's how hurt he was. And again, people dogged him out after that until they ran the gauntlet. And even when they won it, oh, he didn't win it. LeBron choked. So again, and I give Dirk credit for still being the same guy. And all these people revisionist history of how they always loved Dirk. No, they didn't. They kept saying he was no good. In fact, when they drafted him, they said, oh, Lord, Nelly's trying to get another great white hope. He gonna be another Uwe Blab. He gonna be another Chris Anstey. They were naming all these names that didn't get it done just because they tall and white. And then Nelly put him out on the perimeter because he knew how to shoot. Fans didn't want to hear that. Oh, he's soft. He is soft Euro. He ain't going nowhere. They need a dog on that lineup.
Yeah, it's crazy. I remember how they did it. Now, some of the people that was talking about AD are credential media members, so those are the ones they need to. Have this conversation with them because I saw a couple of YouTubes and articles, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna take it with a grain of salt. You know, well,
like I said, people want instant gratification, instant answers, not realizing some things have to play out.
Right.
That's what we started the whole conversation about. Some people get emotionally attached and, you know, they have to reconcile emotions because that trade was a shocker. See what I'm saying? It was such a shock. And that's why they said, first it was said as most shocking, most stunning trade in NBA history. Then they said it's the most, it was the biggest trade in NBA history. Then they said it's the most lopsided trade. You see how it just went down the mountain?
Yeah. So
when the real deal is, it was a shocker because nobody saw it coming. And they made it that way because, again, the way they handled it afterwards, everybody could have done a better job communicating, right? With the media, with the fans, the whole 9 yards. And you earn that respect back and that relationship back. But at the same time, they had to make that deal that way because with the agents nowadays being so big in all the sports, especially NBA, a player like Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler said, I want to go to Phoenix. Get me out of here. It's like you're holding the team hostage. And if you also announce that somebody might be trade bait, well, guess what? It just affects the team that you got now. It's just so many levels to this that it's not like the old days. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. So going back to that question about NICO, before we get into Kyrie and his rehab and then we finish off for the day, is it too early to say that Mavs fans owe NICO an apology? Because the way I'm looking at it is, I say the ones that harassed him, you definitely owe him an apology. If you're going up to him while he's eating dinner with, I think that was his daughter he was with, and you making videos trying to harass him, like, get a life, man. But to the people that chanted fire NICO at every game, the ones that wanted to, first of all, why you chanting fire NICO when your team is shooting free throws? That's just stupid. But you're chanting fire NICO, you're trying to protest outside the arena, and you're trashing this man. Like I said, I didn't like the trade either, but I gave him credit for having the guts and the balls to make that trade on something that he believed. That's his vision. You got to give him credit for it. Is it too early to say they owe him an apology?
Well, like I said, everybody reconciles their emotions in different ways and in different lengths of time. But I think, I think you just said it best. Sometimes people take it too far, and then there's some people who just want to go viral. They have no dog in the hunt. They just decide to put on a shirt or they want to say some things, and they don't have any other attention. And guess what? I'm now famous for being whatever I said and done. So there's always some people like that too, that you have no idea, what their excuse is. But yeah, and I don't really want to get into that topic because it doesn't make any sense. This is a new day. Yeah. And NICO, Luka has turned the page, and I think everybody else should do the same as him. If you're a Luka fan, you can still be a Luka fan, but he's turned the page. So be like him. Be like Luka.
Yeah. And just the same thing we say to Cowboys fans. Michael's gone, man.
You know what? Like I said, I was around. Mike is gone. I was around when Tom Landry got fired by Jerry Jones. People act like this is the biggest. That was crazy back then.
Yeah.
Remember, that was the only coach that the team had ever had in 29 years.
Yeah.
And then he brings in a college coach, and no college coach in NFL history had ever won a Super Bowl. And that college coach was animated. Jimmy Johnson, he was just, it would, if there was the internet back then, it would have melted down.
Yeah.
So again, I've seen things that you think are stunning and shocking, and it's just,
you've been done that. So
sometimes it works out.
Yeah, so I would say, looking at the roster the way it is now, if you were on the fire NICO trade, you should get off the fire NICO train, and just let this season play out. Now, if he mess around and make some bad trades or whatever this year, then and you want to chant fire NICO, I'll give you that this year. But let this roster play out first before you do all that. As far as apologizing to him, I can't force nobody to apologize or feel how they want to feel. I would say, just go into this season with an open mind. If you're a Mavs fan, if you're a Luka fan, I'm a Luka fan. I love Luka, man. Like, I didn't sleep that night. So I was heated. So but yeah, Luka's gone, man. Like, you can love Luka and cheer for him in LA while still cheering for your team. Just have some common sense and grow up when you're doing something, when you're going to these events, when the Lakers come back in town. Just don't do nothing stupid at the arena, outside the arena. That's all I can really say on that. Now, moving forward, before we get up out of here, we have Kyrie Irving, who we all know he suffered that injury that took him out for the season. They projected him to be out until January when he first got injured.
February or March, because it happened in March.
Okay.
They said the soonest he could come back is probably January.
Oh, wow. So, and then with that said, I've been following him, and I watch his Twitch. I watch his Twitch streams, and on his Twitch streams, he kept saying, "I'm not rushing nothing. I'm taking my time. I don't want to rush nothing." But when all of a sudden you see him back. He's walking around, he's jumping around, he's shooting. So fans are starting to get excited, say, "Oh, he might be back late December now." And I was like, I don't know if you want to rush that. What do you
He's
think?
not going to rush it.
You think he takes his time still?
I know he's going to take his time because he's not going to come back and be average player.
Right.
He's coming back to give you Kyrie. And at his age, he's going to get it right. And I'm saying the age is going to slow him down, but he's smart enough to know his body at this point. He's not some young guy, just got into the league and want to rush everything. I feel fine.
Yeah.
He knows his body, and he's been had a few injuries here and there in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows the team has got depth. He knows, we're good until I get back. What he says, and I believe him, he says, I'm right on schedule. I'm not ahead of schedule, but I'm right on schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody that says differently, you're just assuming, and then your heart's going to be broken if he's not ready by that date. And if he were to come back, quote unquote, sooner than expected and didn't look like Kyrie, everybody's going to say he rushed it. It's just like people leap to conclusions when he got hurt. Oh, he was playing. They were playing too many minutes. He had too many minutes. When the fact is, oh boy, put his foot underneath Kyrie and he landed on the foot.
Yeah.
He wasn't looking down on the ground. He landed on somebody's foot and it messed up his knee.
Yeah.
So he's fortunate it wasn't worse than that, but at the same time, they had nothing to do with they were playing him too much. Because they didn't have Luka. People jump to their own conclusion. Yeah. So again, the context is this. You got the team is deep. He knows it. He's there at every practice. He's there. He is the leader of that team. There is no doubt. Everybody absolutely loves the guy. He's not rehabbing from afar. He is right there with them. He's doing all the things. In fact, at the fan jam last week on Friday, he was throwing a football around to the crowd. Yep. He's been signing autographs to all the fans on the lower level as he goes into the locker room. Kai is that guy.
Yeah.
And so he knows when he gets back, they just gonna let him do his thing. But he ain't coming back till he can do it all.
Yeah. And he should. They're deep.
Yeah, and he should. You don't have to.
Yeah.
And and the good time and the timetable is he gonna be ready for the playoffs. And that goes back to, once again, you don't need a true point guard into the playoffs. And Kyrie Irving, he got the best handles in the business. Yeah. He's playoff proven, hit the game winning shot to win the championship. Mm-hmm. Let this man come back when he say he ready.
Yeah. So I guess it's a 2-part questions to exit the stream today. So with this team being as deep as it is, where do you see, like, how many wins are you giving them this year, and who is making the final 15? So if I give you a couple of players that's kind of on the bubble right now, I guess I'll let you say yes or no if they make the roster, just by what you know right now. Dennis Smith Jr., is he making the roster?
The only way he makes the roster, in my mind, is if Dante Exum is hurt.
I think Dante won't make the roster this year. I think they're going to get tired of the injuries and things like that, and I think they're going to actually let him walk this year.
They have a lot of faith in him because he's playoff proven, and that's why they bought out Omax. They wouldn't have bought him out if they didn't really have a lot of faith in Dante. So again, it has nothing to do with him personally. It's about, is he healthy?
Yeah, but when you bring in Delano Batson from Portland, he's pretty much a younger version. He is 6'8" guard that can play defense, and it looks like from what the stuff I've seen in Portland, he looks like he's a better scorer than Dante as well.
Yeah, but again, don't get caught up in putting people in the boxes. He may be a wing. He may be a shooting guard at his size. He may be somebody that can bring the ball up as well. He's not necessarily somebody. Hey, I'm just saying, you don't know how it's going to shake out, but do not assume that anybody is a quote unquote straight up point guard.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, like, you know you have Max Christie on the team. You know you have Cooper Flagg, who looks like he's getting some run at the 2 guard as well, which is crazy. Yep. Which is crazy.
No, it's crazy, but it just shows you Jason Kidd's a hell of a coach.
No, I'm saying that's crazy, like insanely good that he's able to.
Yeah, the talent.
Yeah. So Jaden Hardy's on the bubble. I think Jaden Hardy either gets traded or something by the end of the season as well. I don't think he lasts the whole season.
put it like this. I'm going to say this. I'm not guaranteeing anybody getting a job or getting cut. I'm just going to say there are guys that you say the name. I'm going to say they have to make the team, or this guy's on the team. That's the way I'll put it.
Yeah, we're just speculating off of what we know.
Again, to me, he's in the category of he's got to make the team.
Who Hardy is?
I
would be confident in Hardy if it wasn't for Brandon Williams.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
he's got to make the team. In other words, he's not a lock. You mentioned Max Christie. He's a lock.
Yeah.
Everybody else we talking about,
not a lock.
Unless they're a lock. Like B. Will, he's a lock.
Yeah.
Unless something happened to him physically. Right now, he got a hamstring.
Yeah. So you got Najee Marshall, Caleb Martin. I don't think he shouldn't be a lock in my opinion.
Well, again, I've said it from the beginning. His contract is very tradable, and he brings to the table the experience of being in the NBA Finals, and it's flourishing. He looked great for Miami in those finals. Nobody saw him in the regular season. He wasn't doing that. And then he's a defender, great perimeter defender. And that if you're looking at defense first, he kind of fits the bill. He was coming off his injury this past season too, so you don't really know what he brings. But his contract is tradable if you wanted to make some move. Everybody on this roster, the contracts are tradable. I'm not saying that they should, but it's like it shouldn't be a problem if they had to.
Yeah, it's only really two that's not tradable, and that's the 2 stars. So, 54 million for AD and 36, which still is a deal for Kyrie. So
yeah, he took a hometown discount.
Yeah, Cooper and everybody else said 14 million, 6 million, 4 or 5. Yeah, so they did a great job with it. But if I had to say they don't make the team, I would love for Dennis Smith Jr. to make this team.
I think a lot of fans would too. Dennis Smith's a great guy. You know what? To show you how narratives get twisted. I remember back in the day, people were saying that Luka and Dennis Smith Jr. hated each other.
Yeah, they were like best friends.
Like, wait a minute, their girlfriends go shopping together. What?
Yeah,
y'all play video games together. They are great friends, but people don't want to hear that. They want to create their own drama.
Yeah, I didn't understand that either because I'm sitting there like, yo, are y'all not paying attention to them? Like they love each other. Luka wasn't happy when he got traded.
Right.
Like, he's like my friend, he wasn't used to the trades and stuff at that time.
And then once they traded him, Luka and KP don't like each other. Porzingis and Luka hate each other. No, they got along fine too. People just wanted them to be Dirk and Nash. Everybody ain't that tight.
And then they swore Kyrie and Luka wasn't going to work.
Exactly. That's on the other end. Oh, it'll never work. They can't. Yeah. Man, no.
Now they're like best friends. So
yes,
it's ridiculous. But if I had to say,
people always want to have a narrative. They have to have a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, I would say Dennis Smith Jr. Unfortunately, just because Brandon Williams is hurt right now, I would say Jaden Hardy will somehow make the team. Whether it's I don't know how they do this contract, but he'll make it somehow just because B. Will is injured right now and Kyrie is hurt. Everybody else, I'm curious to see what this Delano Band does tonight or in the preseason, these next 2 games.
Right, because up in Portland, nobody saw what he did, but he was quality.
He's good, yeah. So I'm curious to see what he does. I'm like, you don't bring him in at this time if you don't plan for him to make the team.
Well, here's the thing. Even the guys that make the team, like I said, I always give a caveat to all of this. Yeah. The Mavericks, for the last 4 years, have always made some kind of trade at the trade deadline, even when you didn't think they were going to do a thing. Nobody saw them go and get PJ and Daniel Gafford. And I remember at the time, NICO don't know what he's doing. What are you doing? 2 big centers. What are you doing? And then guess what? They just go to the finals. Yeah. You just never know what's going to happen.
When he got rid of KP, everybody was saying, "Oh, that was bad trade for Spencer Dinwiddie and what was it, Bertans?"
Yep, and they went to the Western Conference.
So, all right, last question for you: how many games will this Mavericks team win this year? If you're looking at it right now,
50 to me is the over and under, and where they wind up in the West, to me, they're going to be a top 5 team. And this is me assuming that they're not going to be just hanging on until Kyrie gets there. They're going to be good. And then when Kyrie gets there, they've got to make it work again and adapt. It's not going to be impossible, but they got to get used to each other again. And then Kyrie they going to run up and get another run. What helps them out is their schedule is very positive towards them because they got a lot of home games to start off. And then the second half of the season, when Kyrie should be back, March and April, they got a lot of road games, and they'll be doing a lot of bonding on the road. And they will also, like I said, have the veteran leadership of Kyrie right there with them.
Yes, I would say
So that's a favorable schedule to me.
Looking at this roster, even just the way it is right now, even with Kyrie being out, if everybody else is healthy and Kyrie does come out, AD's maybe miss 20 games.
Yeah, and it won't
20.
be the end of the world because they deep.
I
he don't have to carry the team. It ain't like New Orleans days for him.
Yeah, I give this team a minimum 53 wins. Minimum.
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah,
I'm not mad at that at all. And where you say where they gonna rank in the West?
The West is tough. I said at the worst, the fifth.
4.
Yeah,
I said fifth. Yeah.
Yeah, they can't get I don't see them going no lower than 5 at all.
Right.
And if I'm giving them minimum 53, I got them top 3 or 4. So this team is too loaded. And then again, we talk about the matchups from what we know. We're not worried about OKC like everybody else.
Not at all.
We're not worried about Phoenix. We're not worried about Anthony Edwards and them in Minnesota. We can match up with anybody with this roster. So it's up there for me this year. I'm excited. So they just got to stay healthy. It's the exact same thing I said last year to start the season when I looked at that roster. Stay healthy. If they stay healthy, we never got a chance to see what they can really do with that roster last year because of the injuries. But if they stay healthy this year, it's up, man. That's how I feel about it.
I feel the same way, and I also feel like because of the injury they went through last year, it ain't never going to be a situation like that. That was one of the historic injury situations for an NBA team. And with that said, and with that in mind, they still had that mentality: are we going to win? Or we going to try to make the playoffs? Yeah. And that's that dog that you want. If you're a fan, you want a team that don't quit, and you got enough depth where you don't have to burn out players. You don't have to have high usage. Not just of the older players, just any of them. You don't have to have a high usage of that. And nobody's concerned about their minutes, their touches, the whole night. Trying to make an all-star team. And let me say this one last thing about Cooper Flagg. There are a lot of people who are like, oh, he don't need to be on that team. He won't be able to develop. That's too funny to me. No, there's a friend of mine who's a scout. There's a friend of mine who's a scout. This was in April before the Mavericks, was even in the lottery because they were still trying to do the play. Cooper Flagg announced he's going to go pro. And so he said the comp. Cooper Flagg personally said his own comp is his hero, Jason Tatum. He said, my game is like Chase Tatum. Other people were saying, oh, he's like Scottie Pippen. All these are great players, right?
Yeah.
The scout that I know, and I haven't seen him yet because he comes to Maverick games and the season hadn't started yet. He said, before he even went to the Mavericks, he said, his comp is Kawhi Leonard. And he said the reason why he got that wingspan like Kawhi, he got them big mitts like Kawhi. Yeah. He can block shots at the rim. He's a perimeter defender. He got the 2-point shot and the 3 is going to come. And then when the Mavericks got the pick, I was like, oh, hell. This is like when Kawhi got picked up from the Spurs. They already had Duncan. They already had Ginobili. They already had Parker. They go to the finals. Kyrie was the MVP.
Yeah.
I said, Cooper Flagg's in the perfect spot because Anthony Davis and Kawhi were in the exact same shoes of him as the number 1 overall pick, and they can help him through any. He already got a high basketball IQ.
Yeah, he's real.
They can help him through anything he might be dealing with. He's already proven that he's smarter than the average bear. I mean, he got the high IQ. He's poised. By the way, he got a twin brother.
He got a twin?
He's got a twin brother named Austin.
I did not know.
Ace, named Ace. His twin brother named Ace. He's a good basketball player, so he's still in college at the University of Maine. So, and he's been playing basketball. He's been in the AAU. He's been through all this stuff. So he's not some guy out of nowhere, not used to nothing. To me, he's no different than like one of these Euro players who was signed as a teenager to a pro team, and he's playing in the Euro basket and all that. He's no different than that because he'd been through all of these wars before. He went to a special college, a high school in Florida, was a prep school where they just crank out the basketball players. He then goes to Duke, where all eyes on him. He played against Team USA that went to Paris and won the gold. He's been through. He done answered all these reporters' questions. There's nothing Jason Kidd said it best. You were at that press conference, or were you not? He's at the press conference, not the first one, the last one. He just said, He said the poise he showed me about Cooper Flagg. He said Cooper Flagg, the first time we went to dinner, the staff we went to dinner with him before we drafted him. He said, we're sitting to him. He's 18 years old. Won't be 19 until December. 18 years old. He said, we're there for 2.5 hours. Not once did this man pick up his phone, look at his phone. He said, every teenager do that. He said he focuses. He's a grown man in a kid's body.
Yeah, I mean, 6'9", 205 at 18 is crazy. So
like can jump through the roof.
That is crazy. Yeah.
He really is generational. Anybody said, no, you know what it is? A lot of people don't want to trust a player from the United States to be that good, especially if he's white. He's got anyway. We'll trust a Jokic, we'll trust a Luka. We'll name somebody from Europe. Oh, yeah, he's been playing since he's 14. Yeah. USA players, like, well, Ant ain't there yet. Who else? Let me think. Well, I don't know about these USA players. They're not like soccer players from around the world, or, you know, European basketball players.
Let me tell you this. I put myself on blast here because when Luka was getting his hype and we was about to, you know, everybody was saying draft him, I got on stream and said, I see a very good player. I don't see generational. So I said he's gonna have to shut me up, and if he shuts me up, I will gladly take that L. Now during the NCAA season, Cooper Flagg, I say, you know what? I've been watching Duke all year. I say he's not top 50 in any category. When he got hurt, Duke just kept moving. Like Duke never slowed down when he missed those games. So I said, I see very good, but I don't see generational in Cooper Flagg. But now that he's in the league, I've seen him handle himself, and he's in this system with these players. I might have to take another L on that one, right? So I will gladly take an L, but I was skeptical about Luka being generational. I said very good, not generational. Cooper Flagg, I said the same thing. I was like, he's very good, but I don't see generational. Because I watched, they say he was the best freshman ever, and that's when they lost me. So I'm like, I watched AD.
Yeah, that was Coach K. College. Coach K said that.
Even with him saying it, and I love Coach K. I watched AD, I watched KD, and I watched Carmelo as freshmen in college. So I'm like, you lost me there. So I was like, I don't see that in Cooper Flagg. Maybe it was just the system he was in. So we'll see.
Well, that's what Coach K, like I said, people take a chunk of stuff and run with it. Coach K said he's the best freshman I have ever had at Duke.
Okay.
Right?
So I got the quote wrong.
In other words, he said Christian Laettner is the best player. He said, but the best freshman is Cooper Flagg. Yeah. And he's also said Cooper Flagg's got the ability to take his career much further than Grant Hill and Christian Laettner. So again, it's like I said, it's nothing wrong with you saying that. It's just that the context, some people take that quote and run with it and act like the whole NCAA was saying that.
Yeah, so
because like you said, Carmelo was a hell of a freshman. He won a national championship.
Telling you, man, him, Anthony Davis.
AD was real. That's Kevin why AD's going to the Hall of Fame, man.
Yeah. So Kevin Durant too in Texas. It was crazy.
Yeah, KD.
Man. But thank you
Player
so much.
UT.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for joining. Once again, this is the Dallas Mavericks update brought to you by DallasHoop.com and Dope Content Entertainment. We have, as you see on the screen, he's been here plenty of times showing love to the brand. It's the Hall of Famer himself, multi-time Hall of Famer himself. He's one of the voices of the American Airlines Center. So if you go to a Mavs game, it's a good chance you're going to see him there.
MC.
Yep. So you're going to see him there. And then you also can hear him on 105.3 The Fan. And if you grew up in my day, you know about the K104s, you know about the 1310, the tickets and all that. So, man.
Family for life.
Yeah, this guy's an absolute legend. And it's an honor, man. Anytime my mom or my stepdad find out that you're on the show, when is it dropping? We gotta see it. We gotta see it right now. What he say? They absolutely love you, man. So
tell them I appreciate him keeping up with me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So thank you so much for joining. Once again, DallasHoop.com. That is one of our new websites that focuses on the Dallas Wings and the Dallas Mavericks. And we're gonna soon once we get more time and help, we're gonna start adding the high school basketball players and things like that to that website. So we want to focus on everything in the community of Dallas when it comes to basketball, AU, all that stuff. So dopecontent.com as always, dope content with the K. I had to do it with a K because first of all, my name is K Lou and it's trademarked. So I could trademark the one with the K. So And we do everything under that umbrella. It's wrestling, sports, music, entertainment. We do it all. That's why it's called Dope Content Entertainment. So if you're here just for basketball, hey, you like wrestling, go just keep scrolling down. You'll see it. You'll see the music. You'll see the Cowboys, all that. Yeah, you'll see all that stuff. So thank you once again, Chris. Is there anything you want to promote before we let you off today?
No, just go MAVS.
There you go, MAVS. Like I said, if you didn't clip it, no less than 53 wins. So go ahead and clip it. I'm gonna say it again for the folks who like to clip me and post it later on. No less than 53 wins for the Mavericks. I'm sticking by that. Cooper Flag, I'm a fan now. So I was always a fan. I just didn't see generational. But it is what it is. Until next time, man, y'all be safe. We are out.
Hey, safe to say I'm the biggest, the largest.
This is what we have. This is the cards we're dealt, just like anybody in this league. Can we be healthy in time to make a stretch run?
Cause I'm the biggest, the largest, the biggest, the largest.
No one's dying.